i objasnio film, ovo, ono, razumeš, i onda vidiš kako u stvari.
All right, we'll get started in just a moment. Hope everybody's doing well this morning. All right. Get this over to YouTube. Today is May 8th. Is it the 8th? 9th, May 9th. All right. All right. Hey, good morning, everybody. I'll get these off. All right. Good morning. It is Friday morning, May 9th, 2025. And I just wanted to walk us through. We've been doing a lot. We do a lot on these calls. We do a lot in an hour. And I kind of just want to bring this together. By no means bring it to an end, but I just want to bring it together and help you anchor in some of these internal shifts that we've been talking about. Let me make sure I'm unmuted. Yep. So we've spent the last handful of days talking about shame. And the question is, if today is a day we decide to be authentic and step into our possibility, then we've got to really understand what we've done, the steps we've taken, the quantum leaps we've taken, right? What good is a breakthrough if your system doesn't know how to deal with it, right? Think about this. If you've seen any documentaries on people in the States, I don't know about other countries, but people in the United States, when they win the lottery, typically they wind up in very short order with less money than they did when they started, before they played the lottery. Why? Because their system's not ready. They have this breakthrough. They have this monumental breakthrough of having access to funds, to money. And what happens is that their system isn't ready. Literally, their nervous system. Everybody thinks they could handle money. The reason that we struggle with money is because there's a part of us that knows we may not be able to handle. Oh, I'll be able to handle it. I get it. You will. So this week we've slowed down some, and we've worked on the shame loop. And we've talked about the second before it happens, the microsecond before it happens. You met the false self and that built the shame, right? You've taken back your voice, and you've remembered that shame. You remember the self that buried the shame, right? No, that's not me. That's not who I am. And in reality, it was. So here's the thing most people miss. Breakthroughs require follow through. Identity isn't in a moment, it's a momentum. Let me say that again. Breakthroughs require follow through. This is why when we go to events, we have these huge breakthroughs, and on Tuesday, when we get back home, we don't have any follow through. Let me explain what happens in the brain. So inside the brain, you have the neural connections at the ends of the synapse. And on average, the typical amount of connections between each little synapse in your brain, and you have thousands and millions and trillions of them, there's about 1,300 connections. And because the brain is wired to do what? Two things. Will this kill me? Or how fast could I recognize the pattern? Since the brain, in any time it's given anything new, it sees it as a threat. And what it does is it doubles the amount of connections between the synapse, because there might be something very small, the color of the animal, the shape of a leaf, the sound of in the forest, that could be a very dangerous thing for us to remember, that in traditional and normal state, in default mode network, we wouldn't pay attention to it. But whenever we're challenged with something new, those connections go to 2,600. We double the amount of connections. And therefore, we become very aware of some new things, new skills, new data, new understandings. And that breakthrough, if not followed through in the next 24 hours, relived, rekindled, reworked, whatever, we lose those connections. The connections that were most important, the information that was most daunting, most important to be life-saving, fades away. That's why we're like, I know this. I know I should do this, right? So if you don't start having new conversations with yourself, your nervous system will default to the old ones. So today's focus is that response. Is a response. How to respond to the emotional residue of shame, and how to do it with compassion, with structure, and self-talk that restores your authority. Think about that. So just for a second, we're not going into really meditation. This is kind of a training. I want you to think about the residue of shame. If you think about shame, can you still think of shameful moments? Does it still act on your body? Does it still trigger a feeling inside of you? If it does, that's residual shame. So because the most powerful tool you have is not someone else's voice, it's your own. The challenge is this. until we begin to believe our own voice, we will constantly doubt ourselves. This is why we say to somebody, give me a script, tell me what to do, because our own voice isn't powerful enough. Our own voice isn't strong enough to enforce the shifts or the change or the awarenesses that we want in our own body. It's kind of cruel. But this is the reason that it acts that way, is because of shame. Because we were told we're not good enough, tall enough, big enough, strong enough, skinny enough, fat enough, strong enough. So, to teach this simple and clear, we need to make this a daily practice, especially post meditation. So if you go back and you listen to the meditations, it's important to go back and not just end at the meditation. It's to go back and have the conversation to say, hey, listen, what do I need to do? How do I need to shift? Where do I need to feel this? When we talk about in the meditations, where do you feel this in your body? Where's that energy lifting? Where's that energy awakening or triggering feelings in your body? We truly need to understand this body-brain connection, the neuro in engineering that we've done to our own selves. So let's name it without blame. So let's have a conversation. I'm going to give you some self-talk. You may want to write them down. You don't have to. Shame dissolves when witnessed without judgment. Here's the big challenge. If we're having a conversation with somebody, I'm going to go to network marketing. It's something I've done for the last 24 years. And we talk to somebody, hey, do you have as much free time as you want? Listen, I used all of these. Do you make as much money as you want? That is shame being witnessed with judgment. And we wonder why people don't say yes to us. They can't. We triggered their shame monster and it's 700 feet tall. So shame dissolves when witnessed without judgment. So how do we have a conversation without judgment? We keep it light. For those of you that have been around the farm for a while, around this conversation for a while, whenever things start to get a little hot or a little heated or a little emotional, I'll usually soften it with the slightest bit of humor. Not to take away from the message, but to allow the message to be heard. Does that make sense? It's a skill, it's a practice. So instead of saying things like, right, here's how we look at shame with judgment, we might say things like, why am I still like this? I thought I already healed this. You ever know anybody to say things like that? So instead of those, right, you typically hear me when somebody has a phrase, I'll usually give them a different phrase that allows them to look at, oh, I don't know. Well, I'm curious to find out, right? So instead of saying things like, why am I still like this? Or why haven't I thought I healed from this? Become aware. Speak the truth. Say something to the effect of, this feels like the loop again. Just say that. Why am I still like this? Let that settle in. We're not even sure what we're talking about, but that feeling, those phrases, those words are a recipe for shame. Why am I still like this? Now just say, this feels like the loop again. Just say that. This feels like the loop again. Do you feel how the energy shifts? How the brain says, oh, we're in inquiry mode, we're in thinking mode, as opposed to activating the amygdala and going into shutdown mode, right? When your amygdala activates, you shut down 25% of your cognitive ability. you instantly take a stupid pill of about 25%. That's kind of cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, right? How about this one? How about saying this one? And these you might want to write down. This feels like the loop again. Here's another one. That old story just showed up. I see it. That old story just showed up. I see it. Doesn't that feel more empowering? How about identifying or noticing or acknowledging where you feel the shame? Maybe it's, I feel shame in my chest right now, and that's okay. How about if we added, I feel shame in my chest right now, and I love that. You follow me? Do you see what happens? When we start to give things a name in negotiation with Chris Voss, right? The thing they do is they name the emotion. It sounds like, it feels like you're upset, right? This is in negotiations. You label the current state. And when you do that, it brings it down from this global thing that has no definition into this thing that we've identified that we can now do something with. Right? So again, instead of, or when you recognize you beating yourself up with shame phrases like, why am I still like this? Or I thought I healed from this, or how long is this going to take? Take a breath and say, hey, this feels like the loop again. And even if you put a smile on your face, practice that now. I want you to practice that now. Put a smile on your face and say, hey, this feels like the loop again. Do you feel the shift in your body? Do you remember when we did the exercise? We just did this and this, right? For those of you, you can practice it at home. You can do it. You can try it. Hold your hands like this for a few seconds. Notice your breathing. Notice the way the breathing feels in your body, and simply turn your hands over, palms up. You'll notice something in your respiration. You'll notice something in a shift in the way that your lungs and diaphragm and everything move. And then you turn your hands back over and you'll feel it change again. I'm not going to tell you what it does or how it does it, but simply by opening and physically, right? Physiology, focus, language, and meaning, the physiology of our body can change the way our body acts. So when you put a smile on your face, if you say, hey, it's okay to smile, even if it's a fake smile, your body says, oh, we must not be in danger. I can allow you, the owner of the body, to think. And thinking is key. Just make sense? So here's the sample phrases. Hey, this feels like the loop again. That old story just showed up. I see it. I feel shame in my chest right now, and I love that. Use naming as a neutralizer, not an indictment. Right? Use naming as a neutralizer, even when you're having a conversation with somebody. You sound mad. You sound frustrated. Yeah, I'm frustrated. You can now have a dialogue around helping to reduce, remove, switch, change, transfer. But if you just keep talking into the abyss, if you're looking at sales, right? What's the best frame of mind for your customer, your avatar to be in? What's the best frame of mind? Focused on their health? If they're focused on their health, chances are there's going to be a little shame involved. Focus on their wealth, there's a chance there's going to be some shame involved. Focused on their relationship, there's probably going to be a chance there's going to be a little bit of shame involved. Listen, this is one of those things that echoes everywhere, right? So now we've named it. What if we had began to have, I want you to think of your best friend, and your best friend just had something kind of highly emotional happen to them. And you know it's time to be a good friend. Do you try to fix them, or do you sit and listen? Do you try to tell them what to do, or listen to the conversation and be present with them? So here's a dialogue with compassion you might use to say to yourself, right? It's to teach you. Here's a phrase you might want to think about. Something you might want to say to yourself regularly. Rebuild this framework inside your mind. Because when we activated this awareness of shame, you started to see where shame is everywhere. So the question you might say, or the statement you might say, hey, listen, you're not broken, you're integrating. I'm not broken, I'm integrating. Just say that. I'm not broken, I'm integrating. Doesn't that have a little bit of pizzazz to it? A little bit of strength to it? A little bit of confidence to it? How about this? My job isn't to eliminate the loop instantly. My job isn't to eliminate the loop instantly. It's to reassure the part of me who used it to survive. Think about that. My job isn't to eliminate the loop instantly. It's to reassure that fragile version of me who used it to survive. Right? If we don't give some credibility, some awareness to the one who did use it, do you think that gets rid of that was so stupid to do that? All right. How many times have we said that? That was so stupid to do that. I don't know why it was so stupid. The one who used the shame to survive, when you now recognize the loop, you feel it. And I love that. Somebody, a version of you, used shame to survive the moment, to survive the tragedy, to survive the trauma. And to not acknowledge that kind of fires up the shame molecules again. And they rebuild into a new structure. Still the same molecules, still shame, but it looks new. It feels different. Oh, that's different. We just rebuilt it because we didn't get any love for using it. It's a big topic. I get it. It's why we've spent 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours on it already. So your job isn't to eliminate the loop instantly. It's to reassure that part of you who used it to survive. Just say that right now. Hey, listen, the part of me that's used shame to survive, I'm here to let you know it's okay. I got your back. I got your back. You don't need to exercise shame anymore. I got you. We're going to move forward in love and confidence, and we're going to take some big steps. I got you. All right. So encourage this kind of language. So again, my job is, you're not broken, you're integrating. Your job isn't to eliminate the loop. It's to reassure that version of you that's used it to survive that things are okay. So here's some phrases. Here's some things you may want. Again, these are the encouraging phrases. Of course you feel this. You were trained this. Of course I feel this. I was trained to feel this. Isn't that fascinating? right? You're allowed to rest now. I got you. You're allowed to rest now. I got you. Right? Here's the big one. You're not being dramatic. You're being honest. So ask yourself this question. How does the young me need to hear in this moment? That younger version of you, the one where shame began its installation, its download, its upload into your system. How does that young version need to hear in this moment? Is it hearing it as a threat? How many times, I know I've said this to Mason a lot. You'll understand this when you get older. You ever hear that? Anybody ever hear that phrase? You'll understand this when you get older, when you're more mature. Right now, you're more mature. You're the one awakening to your shame. But the one who doesn't know it's not their shame, how do they need to hear this message? How do they need to become aware of these statements? Just think about that. How does the young version of me need to hear this? So let's look at installing a new narrative. What's shame's biggest lie? What do you think shame's biggest lie is? Here's what I think. Here's what I think shame says to all of us. This is just who I am. Shame's biggest lie is this is just who it's just who I am. I can't help it. So in this dialogue that we've been having for the last 8 days, you've been helping yourself. I've been giving you some suggestions, some guidance, helping you rewrite this. So now let's install the self-talk, the brain talk that creates the internal congruence with this version of you that you've remembered, the remembered self, the one that was originally the core of who you are. Right? So we've been rewriting this, and so now we're going to install some self-talk, brain talk, so that you can have this conversation with this remembered version of you. So here's a couple of examples. This may feel unfamiliar, yet it's true now. This may feel unfamiliar, yet it's true now. If you've ever traveled someplace and you've gone to a destination you've never been, you've traveled a path you've never traveled, this is new. It's true. It's new. And that's where you're at now. The reality is, though, is that you're simply remembering, you're traveling paths down that you've been before. This is who you were before shame was installed. Here's a big one. You may want to say this often. This one you might want to put on a sticky note. I speak for me, not against me. I speak for me, not against. Oh, you're such an idiot. That's against you. Why am I so stupid? That's against you. When you hear those phrases, they may be so repetitive, you might not even be consciously aware of them. So become aware of that. Slow down your thinking. I speak for me, not against me. Here's a big one. I am the voice I once needed. I am the voice I once needed. There was a time where you were going to stand up for yourself, but you thought better of it. You didn't have the skills, or you weren't prepared for it, or you didn't know how to respond in a way that didn't create more chaos and pandemonium. You were speaking from the wound. You were going to respond from the wound, and now you can respond from the scar. I am the voice I once needed. And here's another big one. This identity is mine by choice, not survival. This identity is mine by choice, not survival. So we're going to do just a light an awareness meditation. We're not going to go into the sanctuary. You can if you want, but this is just something that you can, at a traffic light, you can close your eyes and become aware of, right? If you're sitting down to start to do work at your computer, you can ask yourself these questions. So I want you to bring your awareness to your chest, right? Your heart and your throat, right? That's your chakras, centers, and your solar plexus, right? Your gut. So just bring your awareness there. Just notice it. You can touch them. There's my throat. There's my heart. There's my solar plexus, my gut. Where is shame still living in me right now? Not to fix it, just to feel it. Is shame living in me right now? You may feel it as a deep residue. You may feel it as a current that's running underneath something. You may feel it as that muscle that's down deep that you can't quite massage from the surface, but you know it's in there. When you start to move, you feel the shame move. You'll gently place your hand over that area, take a breath, and silently say, I see you. I feel you. You don't need to be hidden to be loved. I'm not here to shut you down. I'm here to listen. I see you. You don't need to be hidden to be loved. I'm not here to shut you down. I'm here to listen. I see you. You don't need to be hidden to be loved. I'm not here to shut you down. I'm here to listen. What does that feel like when you say these things? The authority that you give yourself. So now, again, you're speaking inwardly. This is to the one who carried the shame. You, the one who's aware of it right now, doesn't have the shame. We're speaking to the version of you that carried the shame. Here's some statements. You didn't deserve the silence you were given. How we never spoke to it. How we figured if we shoved it in a box somewhere inside of us, we'd be all right. It didn't deserve that silence. You're just acknowledging it. Here's another one to say. You were never the mistake. You were never the mistake. I'm so sorry no one saw you sooner. I'm so sorry no one saw you sooner. Here's a big one. You are safe now, and you belong to me. Oh, feel that. You are safe now, and you belong to me. Now bring in your current self, the one who showed up this week, the one who remembered. Let that self speak now. This version of you, the one who's listening to this, that showed up to this meditation, say these words to your energy. I will speak gently to those echoes inside me. I will speak gently to those echoes inside me. I will not abandon myself just because shame feels familiar. I will not abandon myself just because shame feels familiar. Say this with a little authority, this one, with a little bit of punch. This voice, my voice, is here to stay. This voice, my voice, is here to stay. One more time. This voice, my voice, is here to stay. Let that voice anchor in. Hear that voice. Hear the sound of it, the tone of it, the tremble of it, the flow of it. Say these words. I am not what shame built. I am what presence revealed. I am not what shame built. I am what presence revealed. I speak truth over where shame once lived, and now I lead. I speak truth over where shame once lived, and now I lead. One more time. I'm not what shame built. I am what presence revealed. I speak truth over where shame once lived, and now I lead. Just feel that. Feel that energy inside of you. Questions, comments, thoughts? What's some takeaways? What's some ahas? What's some awarenesses? Tomorrow we're going to go into part 1A or part 1B of shame and see if we can't get through section 1 tomorrow. We did 2 hours last Saturday. Hopefully, if it takes 2 hours, it will. But I want to be valuable. I want to bring value to your time as well. Questions, comments, thoughts? Good morning. You can see where a lot of people struggle with this. You can see where it's an unspoken, a absolute pattern that's in everyone. Everyone. All right. My biggest challenge was, I remember one of the days in school, it was 6th grade, and the cows had gotten out, and I had to put on my big rubber boots, and I went to school in my big rubber boots. Well, they make a lot of noise if you've ever worn big rubber boots. And so that was a day that I can still feel it. I worked a lot on that day because it wasn't really raining, but it had rained yesterday, and so it was real muddy. So anyways, but yeah, I remember big rubber boot day in 6th grade. But these are things that where shame got installed. They just happened. So good morning, good morning, good morning. Let's go to Serbia. Hey, Alex. Hey, Jay in the house.
Good morning. Dobro
Good
jutro,
morning.
kako si?
Dobro jutro, hvala.
Izvanredno. Okay, I'll walk through the fire for everybody here. Here's a rebus for you. So out of the 6 pillars, 5 plus faith, right, that you
Yep.
propose, the only one where I could see challenges is the body pillar. Reason is they gain so much goddamn weight.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, what's the thing? So this is where it's interesting to me as well, and that's why I wanted to discuss it with you. Since it all starts with the mind, and I have a pretty positive picture of myself in my mind,
Mm-hmm.
not to be quite frank, but to be quite AJ, I do have a pretty positive picture in my mind of how I look to myself. I look pretty good in myself. I feel good. I look good, right? There's definitely excess weight that would be beneficial for me to kind of maybe lend to somebody else or something.
Mhm.
Right? So leave it somewhere. I'm not gonna say lose it,
Right.
but kind of store it somewhere else, not
Yep.
in here. But this is where the challenge is. I know that it would be good for me to kind of lend that weight out somewhere else. But on the other hand, I also feel very good about myself. So to some degree, the shame kicks in sometimes because I can't fit in t-shirts I could 2 years ago. But then again, on the other hand, I don't feel how should I put I don't feel fat. You know what I'm trying to say? I don't feel obese or whatever. Now, mind you, I don't know how I look over camera, but I'm close to probably 275 pounds at this point.
Yeah, you're fat.
Yeah. I don't know how that looks, but to me, it
You
doesn't
look
look
fat.
that bad. Doesn't look that bad, Skippy.
You look fat.
It's whatever.
Why am I
whatever.
saying that? Why am I saying that?
So the shame would kick in.
No, so that you can
No?
become aware. The reason that I feel good about my body is because it's a lie. You don't
Okay.
have to work if you feel good about your body. Why do you think most people are
Oh.
they're comfortable with their poverty? They say they want more. I'm okay, but I'm okay with my poor. Their results say I'm okay with my poverty. And until this is what's called delusional thinking. If you were to look at if you were to go use the medical tools or whatever it is to put in your weight and your height, and it gives you a score, right? They've went from body mass index, BMI, to another one. Listen, I'm at 2.8, I'm at 213. I'm fat. I'm not obese. I was obese. I'm still fat, according to their scales. I'm in pretty damn good shape.
Yeah, I never say that you're fat. Like, you look great.
But according to the scale, according to the formula, I should be 188. Oh my God, you'd be skin and bones. These are the stories people tell us. Now, I'm going to say this. It would serve you well to help your leg heal. Give up 30,
Yeah, that's what everybody
give
says.
up 30 pounds.
Yeah, maybe even 50. Yeah.
Okay, so 50 pounds. What's the problem if you give up 50 pounds?
I don't know if there's any muscle available because Brad's on call. I think you probably took all of it. I know if there's any muscle left in the universe, Brad needs to give some muscle up, man. I'm kidding. It's I think I would be best at my 225, I'd say.
Okay, so if you got there, what would you do different? What could you do different?
You mean like lifestyle wise or?
Sure. Hey, hang on. You're an amazing student. So I'm going to use this as a moment to help others be taught. I asked him, what would you do at 225? The question that came back, listen carefully. The question that came back was, what do you mean, like lifestyle wise? There is no intention to lose the 225 to get to 225 because you didn't even have a clue. This is what happens when you say, hey, what would you do with an extra $6,000? Geez, I don't know. Then you're never going to get it. We have to have a detailed plan, at least an initial plan for what we're going to do with our wealth. We're talking to AJ about his health right now, but I'm talking to every one of us who talks to people who want us to guide them and give them and sell them success. Isn't that what we're doing, selling success? I don't care whether it's a nutritional, whether it's a wellness product, whether it's a technology, a software. People say, I'm going to pay you for success. When you ask, you want a wake up call? When you say, hey, listen, what would you do with the success? You got the success. What would you do with it? Hell, I don't know. They don't even want the success. So when you're ready, AJ, to get to 225, you have the skills and the talent to say, I made a decision. I'm going to lose 4 pounds a week for the next 10 weeks. I'll lose 40 pounds. Done, easily done. You have the skill set, the determination, hey, listen, why don't you go kick it with your skinny self?
Smart ass. It's
But see, if we don't have the new story, we can't go after the new story. It's that simple. I don't care what it is.
Oh, well, since we are men, and this is a man thing, right?
Yes.
If I were to focus on my society pillar, subchapter intimate relationship, subchapter a potential partner that's gonna give me a run for my money,
Wow,
I
yeah.
think I'd be
You got to be able to run.
I'd be able to run faster at 225. I think I'd be able to run hell of a lot better at 225 versus 275. Okay, well, there it goes. You solved it.
So now become aware of what good decisions. So now shame's going to kick in. Right? Kyle Cease talks about the 4 stages. The fear of making the decision. The holy crap, I could have been doing this since January, right? I could have been doing this since last year. I could have been doing this, right? Part of you, whenever you tell the story about your weight, it is a way to justify why you can't move as much as you do because of the accident. The accident was a stupid accident, wasn't it? It wasn't your fault, but it was a stupid accident, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Do you blame yourself for the accident? No. Could you have been in a different spot? Could you have made one small decision and not been in that spot that took 6 months of your life away and now the next 3 years of recovery? Yeah. So you subconsciously blame yourself. That they did it, but I shouldn't have been here.
I mean, I never take that route home, the route that I took that day. I never take that route specifically home at the time where I used to live.
Sure.
I've been playing this game of tennis with myself probably in the hospital for months.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if only there was one red light versus the green light. If only there was one pedestrian and I stopped there for a split second. If only, you know, this and that. But I realized a long time ago.
Hang on, folks. I want you to pay attention to what just revealed itself. Was it your fault? No. But he just gave you a list of 7 reasons why it's his fault. We use the phrase if only.
Yeah.
There is no if only. The shit happened. But why are you trying to go back to fix it? Don't tell me where you've been. Tell me where you're going. I would be, since you're alive and you made it through and you now get to have a 50-pound weight loss, right? 6 stones or whatever the heck that is. You get to lose all of this. You get to give it away, give it to some skinny kid in Africa. Why not say, I am so excited about my new story, as opposed to ping-ponging it back and forth? And those are only the stories you're just telling us about, not the 1,000 other stories of then getting mad and angry and frustrated and causing your healing and the wound to reopen. And now, well, it was getting better, but I don't know why. We have to now go back and do something to it. All of this that happened. Dude, you have a story. You're 1 in a million. You're the 6 millimeter man. Freaking own it with the chopped meat leg. It's not going away. It can all go away. It goes away the second you say, and I love it. The 275 is the pain you're making yourself, is the punishment for missing that one red light or not stopping for a pedestrian. That's you punishing yourself. Yeah, but the drugs and the this, yeah, whatever. How's that working for you? You've not been on the drugs or the whatever for 5-6 months, so get over it. Or not. Either way, I'm okay with it. But you can't tell me you want to lose weight anymore unless you make the decision today. You make the decision, then done. Now I'll ride you on that decision.
You think that's funny? You think you're smart here?
Oh, hey, listen, one of us is always gonna have fun.
Have
Today
fun,
it's my
exactly.
today it's my day.
It's your turn today. Yeah.
But see what happens when we can have a real face to face, a real conversation with that thing that's troubling us and no delusional thinking. I don't know why I can't lose my weight, because you're fat and you put too much in this hole that comes out of that hole. I don't know what to, it's not that difficult. But my medicines, whatever. Yeah, sure. You eat for 275. You're doing a good job at it. How long have you been at 275?
I don't know. I don't weigh myself that often.
Okay, but how long, if you had to guess?
Probably since I came back home from the States. Did a lot of DoorDashes there when they
Okay,
there.
so this is exactly what we've talked about for the last 5 years. Every time you have this great, we have a weighted. So you can't take, nobody can take away your trip. They can't tell you you didn't go. They can't tell you you didn't learn anything. So what do? You beat yourself up by door dashing and getting yourself fatterer. You got better at being fatterer.
I had to try it all. Like I wanted the Wingstops, the Wendy's, the color, the everything.
Sure, and that's okay.
Yeah,
It's okay to indulge. Now it's time to sharpen up and sharpen the saw and do some walking and do whatever it is. Eat some salads and drink more water. Whatever it is, you know what it is to get healthy. Or we could just send you back to the hospital and you'll lose weight pretty quick.
okie dokie. Actually, as you were speaking, this is the only kind of shame trip that I got, and I went over to ChatGPT, my newest online best friend,
Right.
and explained the situation. Told him, "Hey, listen, give me a proper full day of what to do when incorporating intermittent fasting and working out, and how to slowly come back to working out."
Mm-hmm.
Wrote it out. I mean, wrote all of it out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really good. It's really, what should I say? It's really detailed,
Really
but it's very
customized
simple.
for you.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really detailed, but it's really simple.
Sure.
I said, okay, this is
When did you do that?
This is awesome.
When did you
Just
do it?
just 10 minutes ago, as you
Oh,
were
okay.
speaking.
Cool.
I still have it on the computer here.
Excellent. So when are you going to implement it?
Today,
And if you implement it, how do you feel?
already feel better.
Okay.
Feel
And
like
if you don't implement it,
health
how
is-
would you? If you don't implement it, how would you feel?
Dirty,
Which do you want to feel? Good or dirty?
good.
Good. Then just ask yourself, is this about to make me feel good or is this about to make me feel dirty? Like I didn't keep my promise. I lied to myself. Okay. And then if the decision for not good, the dirty comes up, that's the shame loop.
Oh. So if I think about, okay, let's have McDonald's or let's have a home cooked meal, and I choose McDonald's,
Say, well, okay,
that's
so McDonald's. Okay, I'm okay with McDonald's. I understand it. It's not going to kill me today. But who decided that I wanted McDonald's? Which version of me? Do I really want that? Or is that the shame loop thinking I don't hear it? I see myself at 275. Say I love myself at 275. I
I
love
love
myself
myself at
here.
275. I love
Then the
myself
shame
here.
loop disappears. Now
Oh,
I'm going to feel better at 274. I want to see the movement. I want to see the engagement. I don't have to have the McDonald's. That was a part of me that said, that's trying to hide something else. What are you trying to hide by this distraction? Oh, that I can actually have a romantic run for my money kind of relationship. Wait a minute. McDonald's is keeping me from, yeah, pretty much.
that's an interesting perspective, and I haven't thought about it that way. I
Yeah.
realize right now that there's levels to this shame thing. There's levels to this, man. This is so. But if I say this, is what's coming to my mind now. If
Yep.
I say that having a cheat meal, that's gonna be me cheating myself from going to 225, right?
Well, yes, but what is but here's the key. It's not the 225, it's what the 225 brings you. It's never the thing, it's the destination. What does 225 bring you? Brings you discipline, keeping your word, and stepping into a new version of you. It's not a cheat meal. You're cheating yourself out of keeping your word. You're cheating yourself out of, here's the big thing. You know how I always go to the emotional thing, right? Could you imagine? I want you to think for just a second. Play along with me. You find the love of your life. Absolutely dots all the I's, crosses all the T's, puts all the punctuation, exclamations. The person who just absolutely turns your crank like nothing you could have ever imagined. And you're on your deathbed. And because of this cheat day, you die a day early. That's all. It's 100 years from now because of technology and medicine and everything else. But because you had this one cheat day, you are one day less with the love of your life. You okay with that?
Yeah. Well, probably not.
So
Yeah.
because here's the thing, because we are so conditioned to the instant gratification, we don't know how to delay gratification. Here's the thing, they've done studies. Imagine this. If I gave you a chance to make a choice, $5 right now or $10 in a week, which would you take?
I'd wait, take $10.
Okay. $100 now or $1,000 a year from now?
Oh, I want to say $1,000 a year from now, but I'll probably take the 100.
Right? Because it's a 10x, 10x. But we can't wait that long. We have to play the long game. We are playing the instant game, which is why so many people in a scratch off lose. They are scratching off their life every day. Well, I wonder what's going to happen to me today. They're playing a freaking lottery instead of building their bank. Play the long term. How long do you want them to say your name after you're gone? Most people, it's about a month. How long do you want your name to be said?
Long time. Be specific.
It'll only
Okay.
last about a week. You know that fat bastard, 275 pounds? He'll talk for you about a week. But what you did on the journey to lose the 50, to give away the 50, the determination, the example you gave, the impact you gave. Do you know how many kids Are there fat kids in your country?
Yeah.
Yeah. What if you all of a sudden became the example through leadership? And when you rolled up your pant leg, they all screamed and went, right? When you went to the schools to do the trainings and the teachings about discipline and determination, and why your country needs them to step up. We don't need outsiders to fix Serbia. We need you. I need Serbians to fix Serbia. And you're the one that leads that. And you show them your before picture. It's going to have to be really big because you were super fat. And then you show them this after picture. It's really small because you're super skinny.
It's gonna be you have to be like the 0.5 zoom on iPhone, like
right.
like the ultra wide, the ultra wide angle.
Bring it in, boys.
The whole shenanigans. Okay, just one more question
Sure.
to wrap it up. Incorporating the shame loop thing into the weight thing.
Yep.
Obviously, the choice for McDonald's is gonna be one day early, right?
Yeah.
The question that pops into my mind now is, you know how we say just one cheeseburger won't hurt?
Right.
That restarting the loop again? Or
Oh,
what?
absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Who's saying that? It's not the one who wants to get healthy. The healthy version of you knows one cheeseburger will kill you.
Okay. I get it now. Just so,
And that's how fast it works. For you to, after what you've been through for the last 10 hours, for you to ask, you got to ask yourself right now, who just asked that fascinating question? So if I say, well, one cheeseburger won't hurt, was that, well, that was me. That was the health. Would the healthy you say that? Would the healthy you say, the healthy you, the 225 you, well, one cheeseburger won't hurt? There's not a snowball's chance in Hades it would say that.
No, he'd be like, suck it up, Buttercup.
It wouldn't even be a discussion. You'd go, wow. Are you kidding? Who's got jokes today? Do you see where you just scratched your prefrontal cortex? You were thinking sometimes it's back here, but this is a thinking question you had right now. This is how wired in it is. This is literally an addiction, right? Because sugar is more addictive than cocaine. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Carbs are sugar, right? Carbs are carbs, but carbs are kind of this thing we get addicted to. And we get addicted to the taste. You know, they put some things in there to make you want that, right? Have you ever seen the video where the hamburger from McDonald's is 25 years old and it still looks like the day the lady bought it?
Yeah. So that's fascinating.
So is that what you want? Is that what you want to go eat, a 25-year-old hamburger?
Nah.
And so here's where the delusional thinking comes in. We have to become mentally tough. And what Tony Robbins teaches is that we have to have there is a price for this that is overwhelming, right? Like I said, go have a hamburger today, you'll be one day less with the love of your life, and you'll go, I shouldn't have had that cheeseburger 45 years ago. Imagine the pain on your face, on your body, when she says, can't you stay one more day? And you go, nope, I had a cheeseburger. It was a cheat day. I'm going to cheat you, my love of my life, from being able to spend one more day. I'm going to cheat myself out of spending one more day with the love of my life. Yeah, this hamburger's worth it. Not a chance. We have to we have to shock and awe. We've got to bring the bombers and the nukes and the B-52s and the machine guns and the tanks, all for somebody that says, I want to fight you. And you show up. You ever seen the cartoons? Remember the cartoons where they show up and then all of the guns show up? He pulls out and it's like 7,500 guns and bullets and it's like rockets and launches and it's just this little guy going, okay, I won't do that. We have to overwhelmingly destroy this thinking that it's okay to have a cheat day. But you know why everybody signs up for it? Because they get a cheat day, losers.
Yeah, that's really weird for me. I understand what you're trying to say. I understand what you're talking about. The weird thing for me is when I ask myself who said that, right? Mm-hmm. It's as if, because if I say that the 225 version would never do that, but the 275 guy would. So it's as if I was ashamed to lose the weight versus stay in there.
Right.
That's the part that's just like what the hell? How would you even be ashamed to lose weight? I mean that's just I don't I don't know how that works, man. I mean, why would
So, well, the key is that's how powerful, that's how much shame was built into you. So you have to say, I'm not what shame built.
I'm not what shame built?
And to that shame version, the 275 say, hey, listen, right? I see you. You don't need to be hidden to be loved. I'm not here to shut you down. I'm here to listen. Tell me why you so ask this conversation right now. Tell me why it's okay to have a cheat day. As a 275 person who wants to lose weight, I get it. Why are you asking me? Why are you saying it's okay to have a cheat day? I'm just curious. And literally have this dialogue, have this inquiry, not an inquisition, have an inquiry. Why is it okay to have it? Why is it okay if I truly want to lose the weight and we both understand it'll probably be better for my heart and everything else in my leg and I'll heal faster? Why are you saying it's okay? Why are you asking for a burger? What part of you needs to be seen? What benefit do you get from staying at 275? And what's it say?
Firstly, it says I just want a burger, won't hurt. And then after I kind of dig in that ditch just to see who's up there, it says because this is comfortable now. It's a lot more comfortable.
And then ask, is it really comfortable or is it just easy?
It's just easy, not comfortable.
And here's the question now. Isn't it always easy to fail?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So do I want easy or do I want worth it?
Worth it.
Yeah, because the challenge is that we go easy, hard. I don't want hard. I don't want hard. I look at my Whoop and it tracks the strain on my body. And I've told you guys this, the strain on my body is normally 14 on a daily basis. Since the ranch, since before the ranch, getting things prepared, but getting things now because I have some space and time and some tools to get some things done on the ranch, my average is 19, which is, yesterday was 27,000 steps. My average daily steps is 17,000 average. Now, that's not easy. But I can tell you this, it's worth it. And the reason it becomes worth it is because now I'm putting down grass, I'm putting up fencing. I get to see, you put down grass, you don't instantly go get a burger and go, oh, that was so good. You put it down, you got to cover it up, you got to water it, you got to take care of it. And then eventually 80 to 90% of it comes up. It's worth it. It's worth it. So it's not hard, it's worth it. If it's hard, listen, I'll be the first one to not do hard. I will beat you to the I ain't doing hard line in an instant. So rather than, well, is it easy or is it worth it? Is it worth staying 275? That's not worth it. But it's easy. Is it worth it staying poor? No, it's easy. So we have to ask, what is my worth it conversation? What is my worth it focus? Does that make sense?
It does, since you were a good Samaritan enough to leave all of your work on YouTube. So the other night I went on your YouTube channel and I clicked on the oldest filter, so it came, from bottom to top.
Yep.
And I gotta say, Skippy, you looked like hell 15 years ago. You look now at 59, 10 to 50 times better versus what you looked at. What was that going to be? 45?
Mm-hmm.
It's just so interesting to me. And I thought about that as well because you were fatter. Your hair was not as good, and you just looked like hell, man.
Yeah, no, I
You look
listen,
like hell.
you could never hit me with anything because it would go in orbit around me. I had my
And
own
right
gravitational field.
right now you look 100 times better. And I just was thinking about this thing that we just discussed even the other night. And I was like, what the hell's that guy doing? He must have taken some steroids. Okay, but I I was like, well, yeah, that's and by the way, everybody knows that as you grow older, it's more challenging to, get your body to be how you want it to be.
Right.
So I'm like, you little bitch. I'm 23 now. I'm turning 24 in 2 weeks. I'm still in my 20s. Like I'm pumped with hormones and whatnot. I can do this easily. This is not going to be a challenge.
So it comes down to decision. Do I
Yeah.
have to work harder? Yes. Now, do I have to work harder today than you do? No. Because I got there. You just got to get there. Here's the thing. One of the last things was it's not about the moment, it's about momentum. It's not about the moment, it's about momentum. So what can we do to begin? That's why we can't stop. Cheat day, stop the momentum. I can't understand a cheat day. I just don't. It doesn't make it. I don't know how it doesn't make any sense in the brain. Not one. There's nowhere where you can give yourself a rest, not a cheat day. You're saying it. I'm okay with cheating. I wonder if relationships failed more on people who have cheat days. It's okay to cheat. It just doesn't. Love it, brother. Congratulations on your continued effort. Anyone else? Last thoughts, comments, questions, takeaways, take with you.
I'm gonna go home and lick the wounds now. See ya. See y'all in a bit. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You are welcome. All righty. I love you tons. Tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. If you've got the skin for it, we'll continue to go into a little bit more of the shame, and we'll go a little bit after. We'll recap the 5 loops, the shame loops. And that video is from last Saturday, but we'll recap the 5 loops and we'll go a little bit deeper into understanding shame and how to just begin to have a conversation with it, right? You're literally dealing with an addict. And what an addict, the first thing any addict has to admit is that they have an addiction. And shame is a tough one to say, oh, I don't shame myself. That right there is the beginning of shame. So we'll talk more about that. I'm your head brain training. Let's go find our 225 version of ourselves. I'll see y'all where?
The next
At the
event.
next event.
At the next event. Somebody give me some Costa Ricas.
Pura vida.
Pura vida. We love you, Mark. And some Lydias.
Peace be with us.
Peace be with us all. And the queen of finding your ideal lifestyle, Jessie Lee Ward.
Boss
Boss
Lee.
Lee, we love you, girl. A little white, fluffy.
Gurgly, gurgly, gurgly.
Gurgly. We love you, Fee. All right, everybody, go have some fun. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Bye for now.
Peace, family.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
I don't know why the music's not playing, so I'll just sing. Get up, get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. I love you tons. Bye for now.